That was my performance during Miss India the Netherlands 2014, in which I was a finalist. You know, a beauty pageant, a contest where girls are presented to please the eyes of so many, where superficiality takes the lead, and where everyone enjoys all the sexiness and outer beauty on stage. Girls are particularly presented to please so many, and often people assume that these girls advocate world peace, while they don't even know the capitals of their neighboring countries. And yet, so many want to be part of this glamorous world. It is a feast full of young, beautiful women in the prime of their life, with so many talents, ambitions, inspiration, dreams. Why the negative image then? And if my statement of young, talented, ambitious women is justified, then why is there still a lack of representation of women within all levels of society? Let's take, for instance, politics, since that seems to be such a hot topic these days in Suriname. Our parliament enables the highest level of representation, and only 7 out of their 51 members is women. Here it says 8. I looked it up on the website and it said 7, and now I even heard 5. Well, it doesn't really matter. It's not enough. Because we're talking about the highest level of representation, and you would actually expect that at least 25 of those members would be women, since half of the society of Suriname consists of women. Or the lady leaders within the different sectors. I looked up the numbers and I compared them to the amount of men leading in the different sectors. And what I figured out is that within all those sectors, or at least 75 of those sectors, the amount of men in leading roles is twice the amount of women, and in some cases even more. And that is actually why I had to enter that glamorous world. Because of all the questions that began to frustrate me every time I saw an overrepresentation of men within all different levels of society. I wanted to figure out women. What motivates them? What shackles them? What do they dream about? But above all, what are their passions? And if I figured those out, how could I inspire them? How could I facilitate them? And as a Surinamese Dutch or Dutch Surinamese woman with Indian roots, I have always been told that a woman has to work twice as hard in order to prove herself. And you even have to work harder, because you're not only a woman, you're also a black or a brown woman living in a white society, my dad always said. And I have to admit, I've been working for over 4 years now, and I'm glad that I got that warning from my dad. But I'm also glad to be that hardworking brown woman. It amuses me every time I see those faces of men in black tight suit when they realize they're having an appointment with me, the advisor international affairs, not the intern or the trainee you consider me to be. Or indirect colleagues, since I work for an organization with more than 3,000 people, so I often meet new colleagues. Their faces when they realize I'm not an intern, I'm not a trainee. It's priceless. And it are situations like these that really motivated me to work even harder, to prove myself to myself, to actually be motivated. It actually motivated me to prove myself that I can do anything I want to do, that I'm capable of being anyone I want to be. I wanted to grow even further. I wanted to develop myself even further. And of course, there were also times that I wanted to prove that I can do anything you can do, And in some cases, even better, Mr. Black-Tied Suit. And my expectations were actually that other women, even more experienced than I, would also get motivated out of these situations, would also want to work harder in order to be more successful, in order to do what they really want to do, in order to live their passion. But this does not yet seem to be the case. Why is that? And during my participation at Miss India, the Netherlands, I got in touch with a lot of Surinamese women. A lot of them. A few of them successful, but most of them not doing what they really want to do. Most of them not in the positions they aspire to be in. Most of them not living their passions. Why is that? And it really didn't take a lot of time for me to conclude 3 reasons, 3 elements, 3 aspects. The first one is upbringing. Women, especially Surinamese women, we are brought up, we are actually raised to be caring and responsible mothers, daughters, sisters, wives. This obligates us to always think about others before we think of ourselves. It obligates us to always please others before we please ourselves. And we always think about what others think about us and what others tell about us. Because that's such an important subject to us, their talks. The second one is ignorance. Because we're always busy pleasing others and caring about others, we often tend to forget the opportunities we have. Because a society offers a lot of opportunities to people, which includes women as well. Let's get one thing straight. Because my boyfriend always jokes around and says, well, God created people first and then women. Let's get one thing straight. Women are people as well. And a society offers us a lot of opportunities, but we need to make time in order to figure those opportunities out. We need to seize every opportunity, which means we need to make time in order to live our passions. And the third one is a lack of self-confidence. Girl, look at me. I'm just a simple woman with simple needs. Don't think I can become a CEO. I'm just an assistant, which is fine. It's enough. That is my level. My mouth fell to the ground when I heard that. My first reaction was, am I too arrogant to think I can become CEO? Or is she too ignorant for her own being? My first reaction. Nowadays, I've spoken to a lot of these women. Nowadays, I understand these women. And every now and then, I also catch myself lacking self-confidence. There are moments when I also think, well, maybe being an advisor in international affairs, maybe being an advisor of an alderman, is just enough. It's fine. I studied a little bit. I have a job now, I have a good contract, I have a salary. It's fine, I don't have to grow any further. But then just give it 10 to 15 minutes. This little voice pops up and tells me, but you need more. You want more. You have a passion, Bharti, and you need to feed your passion. So get your ass up, work even harder in order to feed your passion, in order to be happy. That damn little voice. It sucks the energy out of me, but it keeps me going. It keeps me motivated. And then, if I sum it all up, so to sum those 3 things up, we're too soft, ignorant, and definitely not bold. And this goes beyond racial background, from Europe to Africa and Asia. We women, we all have to stand up for ourselves. We all have to start pleasing ourselves. We all have to start caring about ourselves. And then I got in touch with a group of women who maybe cannot be classified as world leaders yet, but they are successful. And why is that? Because they do the things they really want to do. They live their passions. These women strive, struggle, fight each and every day in order to do what lies close to their hearts. They really get energy out of the things they do every day. Like for instance, Shanti. Shanti is a public administrative who always had to prove herself to her family and her friends, especially her parents. She always had to get good grades. She always had to get the best job at government. But she preferred more creativity in life. So eventually, she ended up writing a book, which has been published, which has also been promoted here in Suriname. So now, she's a writer. Or Jane. Jane has been sexually abused during her youth. And because of this traumatic experience, she discovered the power of sexuality. And nowadays, Jane coaches people in order to experience Tantra in its purest form. Can you imagine it? A Surinamese woman with Indian roots explaining to her society that she is a sexuality coach. It's almost impossible. Jane did it. Or someone whom a lot of you might know as well is Jennifer. Jennifer left her successful job in the Netherlands, like she mentioned, in order to move to Suriname, not knowing what to expect, knowing it would be harder. But she wanted something unique. She wanted something else. She wanted to be happy. She wanted to live her passion. And look at her now. No words needed. These women know what it means to struggle. They have experienced the struggles on the road to success. And still they continue. And every now and then, these women also need some help, which is not a problem, because most of the women who know what it means to struggle are willing to help each other. These women inspire. They inspire a large group of other women in order to do what they really want to do, in order to live their passions, no matter the time, place, or circumstances. These women raise the bar. They are living proof of the fact that absolutely anything is possible. They motivated me to create a specific platform. A platform which enables women to meet, inspire, but most importantly, help each other in order to find and realizing our passions. And that was the establishment of GIA. My friend Anjani and I have founded GIA not only to inspire women, but also to facilitate them by promoting the amount of talent and knowledge these women possess. And our main tool in order to reach our goal is rather simple. It's the strength, power of women. We try to inspire other women by promoting, by getting maximum exposure for the success stories of other women. So each week, another Gia, and Gia means beautiful soul, each with their own fascinating story. So another Gia is offered the opportunity to share her story on our website, on our social media channels, through our partners. And we also write columns for various magazines and papers. And because I'm not allowed to promote anyone or anything, I would like to mention that Women's Manual is one of our partners here in Suriname, just like TEDx. So it's actually very simple. We inspire, but GIA also matches. GIA matches people, GIA matches women. So if there is a woman who is eager to start a business, but lacks the amount of knowledge, we match her with more experienced entrepreneurs. Or if there is a woman who wants more creativity in life, then she will get guidance from an artist. Or if there is a woman who wants to be one of those 51 parliament leaders or members, then she will get the needed guidance from women experienced in politics. And I think Karen can help us with that. So all in all, it's very simple. Women helping each other in order to excel within different fields of experience, in order to be present within different levels of society, in order to be successful, in order to live your passions. And my participation in Miss India the Netherlands has actually opened doors for me. I also seized a lot of opportunities. And yes, I've also encountered those stereotypical misses I've described earlier. But they also have passions, they also have talents, and there's a lot of potential in them. And to me, it was actually a milestone. Because never having done gymnastics or lifting weights, I did not believe I was able to do a backflip at a height of 6 meters and still keep on smiling while doing it. It was actually proof to me that anything is possible. And that is what I want other women to be aware of. A woman is capable of doing absolutely anything. She just needs some inspiration, a little motivation, and a few tools. And we can help her with that. Only then a woman is able to truly live her passion. And just between you and me, living your passion will only increase your beauty and your sexiness. It is what really turns you into a woman. No makeup needed. Thank you.